We're back again with John DiLeo, who's going to tell us about another short performance that really was good in Young Frankenstein.
Yes, we're going to talk about Gene Hackman in Young Frankenstein, featured in this book that I wrote called There Are No Small Parts, 100 Outstanding Film Performances with Screen Time of 10 Minutes or Less. Young Frankenstein, of course, is a Mel Brooks movie from 1974, co-written by Brooks and the film star Gene Wilder. And it's got that amazing cast of that sort of wonderful Mel Brooks ensemble, including, Marty Feldman, Madeline Kahn, Terry Garr, Kenneth Mars, Cloris Leachman. It's a fantastic cast, and they're all so funny, and everyone gets to shine. Kind of the surprise in the movie, especially because he's not billed in the opening credits, is the great Gene Hackman, who has one scene, 4 minutes long, as the blind man. And so they're spoofing the great scenes from Bride of Frankenstein from 1935, when Boris Karloff finds the blind man, played by O.P. Hedgie, in the woods, and they spend a lot of time together, enough time that Mr. Hedgie is able to teach the monster how to speak, appreciate music. It's almost like he gets a liberal arts education in the woods. And when he leaves, he's no longer quite the monster he was when he arrived. Now, Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder have condensed this to one scene that is quite hilarious. And here you have Gene Hackman, who at that particular moment was one of the most revered serious movie actors of the early 70s, with films like I Never Sang for My Father. He won the Best Actor Oscar for The French Connection. He did Scarecrow, The Conversation, the great film for Francis Ford Coppola, and of course The Poseidon Adventure. And it's not that he hadn't been funny before. Much of what he does in Bonnie and Clyde actually shows what a great comic actor he could be. That was in 1967. And of course he worked with Gene Wilder in that film, and Gene Wilder's featured in this book for Bonnie and Clyde. I'm sorry, I'm bouncing around, but
it's good to know how all the movies connect.
Yeah, so the two Genes had worked together. Now, in Gene Hackman's scene, he just plays opposite Peter Boyle, who plays the monster in Young Frankenstein, and it's just a hilarious scene. And what's so great is, of course, Gene Hackman's style is completely deadpan. He's not being, like a lot of the rest of the people in the movie are getting to do their zany bits. He's totally low-key and absolutely hilarious.
It seems like a movie that they really had fun making. I get that feeling from them. Do you know if that's really true or not?
I don't know how much fun they were having, but I would guess that Gene Hackman was having a lot of fun, because, like I said, after a string of serious parts, to do something so fun with such great lines, and the monster leaves after he sets fire to his finger with trying to light a cigar, and when he leaves, and of course Hackman has that great last line of wait, I was just going to make some espresso, and again, everything is so low-key, deadpan. Most of the audience didn't recognize that it was Gene Hackman. So, it must have been just such a total delight for him. And of course, I think it's Mel Brooks's best comedy, the most sustained, where Young Frankenstein is just about perfect. And of course, done in black and white, and using some of the original Frankenstein laboratory props and set pieces. So it really evokes the films it's spoofing with such loving care. It's so beautifully detailed, and everyone is cast to perfection. And like I said, you've already been laughing yourself silly, and then Gene Hackman shows up, and everyone who knows those old movies remembers the blind man in Bride of Frankenstein. And so you can't wait to see what they're going to do with it, and it's hilarious. I think it's a real tribute to Gene Hackman. Mel Brooks knew the movie so well, he's actually spoofing all three of the Boris Karloff Frankenstein's monster movies. The first one in 31, Bride of in 35, and Son of in 39. So aspects of all three are filtered through it. And so, it's fun thinking, that's from one, that's from two, that's from three. I love also the scene when the monster and Gene Hackman do Putting on the Ritz to show how advanced the creation is, and that he's able to sing and dance and tap dance and That's
It
a
seems
very
like only
funny
Mel
scene.
Brooks could think of something like that.
That is a really funny scene. Yeah, Mel Brooks loves musicals, and I think he loves the Great American Songbook. So, the idea of putting on the Ritz in a Frankenstein movie was right up his alley.
And did you say Gene Hackman wasn't even billed in the?
He's not billed in the opening credits, but he is at the end, I believe. Yeah, he's at the end.
And
But
most people didn't recognize
I
him.
think most people didn't. Even when when the book came out and people saw, like, that was Gene Hackman. So it was like, well, it's like almost 50 years later, people still didn't acknowledge that it was him. But that would probably tickle him that he was so unrecognizable. And
It's a great compliment to an actor.
Exactly.
To be lost into the character like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a favorite one. Thanks, John, telling us about Young Frankenstein.
Thanks, Nick.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss these great episodes coming up soon.